decisions. Your bad decision was not the leaving the children wasn't the only bad decision. The bad decision was deciding to have a baby with these trifling motor scooters that
Enjoy the video. Hit the like button.
on State of Georgia versus Andrea Danielle Dyer, 2022 CR 06935 for contributing to the delinquency of a minor. You're represented by attorney Owen Lynch, who's with the law firm of Lister, Holt, and Dennis. Mr. Lynch, what is your client plea to the offense before the court?
Judge, it's going to be a guilty plea, but we're going to ask the court to take that under the First Offender Act.
Okay, does somebody have their device open? Because I'm hearing like feedback.
I hear it as well, Judge. I think it's got to be on the Zoom. Somebody on the
Ms.
Zoom.
Dyer, do you have something playing in the background?
Oh, hold on. Let me mute my kids' TV.
All right. All right. So, Ms. Dyer, you're entering a plea of guilty under the first offender to contributing to the delinquency of a minor. By doing so, you give up the right to have a trial by jury or judge. You give up the right to have the state prove your guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. You give up the right to have the presumption of innocence in your favor. You give up the right to confront witnesses, subpoena witnesses, present testimony and evidence on your behalf, to not incriminate yourself. And if you're not a United States citizen, a plea of guilty or no contest could negatively impact your immigration status. Do you understand all of these things?
Mm-hmm.
All right, factual basis and recommendation, please.
On July 9th, 2021, officers responded to Clayton County in reference to a property check. Upon arrival, officers observed a 10-month baby on the floor crying, a 7-year-old juvenile who opened a 7-year-old child who opened the front door, and a 9-year-old child in the bedroom. The 3 children were home alone. Officers made contact with the defendant via phone, who advised that she was at the grocery store and that she was on her way back to the home. Upon officers' further investigation, officers found that the defendant worked down the street and that she had left the home to go to work that day. As a result, officers placed the defendant under arrest and left the children in their grandmother's care. As to count 1, the state is recommending 12 months to serve 2 days, credit for the time served. The balance is probated for the defendant to complete a parenting class and complete 40 hours of community service, and the balance will suspend.
Thank you.
All right.
Judge, I think Ms. Dyer did indicate she wanted to be heard, but just not to minimize the seriousness of the allegation here, Judge. Ms. Dyer did indicate that her workplace was very close to the apartment. She was continually coming back at any chance she could. She was in a very tough spot financially, or as far as being able to complete her work and have supervision for the children. She absolutely understands. And she already did complete a parenting class through DFACS, which closed their case. Judge, I am asking the court to accept the plea as negotiated under the First Offender Act. And Ms. Dyer, if you have anything you want to tell the court, you may.
Go ahead, Ms. Dyer. Tell me what your name and
I know the decision that I made to leave my kids at home while I went to work was not the right thing, the right decision. I worked on the property that I lived on, so I was able to go back and forth to the house to check on them, made sure they had breakfast, lunch, and everything. But that was during the time where I didn't have support. Well, I had the support, but I didn't have the support. My grandmother was dealing with dementia. My mom was spending most of her time helping her. Um, so I didn't have the
Miss
help. My
Dyer,
only kid
I
father.
didn't hear nothing about a baby daddy. I'm sick and tired of people acting like they make babies by themselves. Whoever you chose to have a 10-month-old with, like, was he not able? He was good enough to lay down with you and make a baby, but he not good enough to stand up with you and take care of you. We need to start making better choices. Women need to start making better choices. Listen to me, Miss Dyer. We having the babies being born out here with folk who we wouldn't like, they trifling when you get with them. He probably already got other kids he not taking care of. He's trifling when you get with him. And if it's about sex, there's tons of things you can do to not have a baby. But when you make the choice to have a baby with somebody who is just going to leave you hanging out in the breeze you got 3 kids. Now, I don't know how many fathers are involved in that decision, but whoever you chose to have these kids with, if they weren't going to stand 10 toes down, and it ain't like we don't know when we get involved with them. We know they trifling when we get involved with them, but we have a baby anyway, thinking it's going to work out. Anytime you got to make the choice between working and leaving your 10-month-old, a 7-year-old, and a 9-year-old, because the fathers of these children ain't worth the spit it took to make them, we have got to start making better decisions. Your bad decision was not the leaving the children wasn't the only bad decision. The bad decision was deciding to have a baby with these trifling motor scooters that you knew you couldn't depend on to begin with. You what?
We can't hear you.
I can't hear you.
I said yes, and I understand that, and that's the price that I have to pay for that.
No,
So,
that's the price your kids are paying for that, because you chose to
right.
have a child with men who ain't worth nothing. So your kids are paying that price, not you. We need to make better decisions. And I'm not just talking to you. I'm talking about anybody who is watching, anybody who's listening. We know when we make these decisions, these men are not going to stand with us and these children, but we making them anyway, and it doesn't make any sense. Anytime you got to make a decision between working and taking care of a child, and you got to leave a 10-month-old in the care of a 7-month-old and a 9-month-old, and you say your support system, and the 2 people you named as your support system were 2 other women, the grandmother and your mother. You never once thought that these men could be the support system for their own kids. And that's sad. That's where we are in America. That's where we are.
Well, at one point there was support. I had a court order. There was a situation that took place some years ago where my son's father kicked my door in. So we are not allowed to be around each other. And for the safety of me and my children, I just chose to leave that situation and do what I have to do
I get
as
that.
far as my kids.
But the 10-month-old father, where was he?
He wasn't around. He was in and out of town. He wasn't around like that.
He was what? I'm sorry. So he wasn't around, but his money couldn't be there to help you get childcare.
No.
Why?
He didn't. Whenever I would ask to help with the daycare, I
put him on child support.
He already on child support, and they're not.
He got other kids, right? How many other kids he have?
4.
And you had a baby with him.
Yeah. And I accepted the consequences of my actions because I laid down.
It's not about you accepting the consequences. Stop. I'm so sick of this. It's not about you. You're a big old grown adult. It's about these babies accepting the consequences. You making their lives hard, making decisions to have a baby with somebody who in and out, probably already in another relationship, got 4 other kids, and you decided that your best bet was to have a baby with him. Probably had a big old baby shower and gender reveal.
No, I didn't.
All of that
I didn't. I didn't celebrate. It wasn't it wasn't nothing to celebrate. I accepted what I did, and I accepted, hey, this is what I made. I didn't put no pressure on him. He
You
wanted to
should
leave, let
have,
him leave.
because he made that baby too. Stop letting
Right.
these dudes off the hook. You got a whole criminal case because you had no choice. Your choices were limited, and you got a whole criminal case for a baby he got half of. Stop doing this. You can have sex without having a baby. Lots of people do it. They got stuff you can use. But that's preferable to putting a 10-month-old in the care of a 7-year-old and a 9-year-old, because we can't count on the people that we're laying down with to stand up with us. I'm going to accept your plea under the first offender statute. I'll sentence you to 12 months to serve 2 days credit for time served. Balance will be probated for you to take a parenting class. If you can produce the form from your parenting class that you took for defects, the court will accept that as long as you present that to probation, and then you're to do 40 hours of community service. Upon completion of the 40 hours of community service and presentation of the parenting class information, then your probation will suspend, and so you won't have to report, or you won't have to continue to pay. What I'm going to do now is put you in a breakout room with Miss James. Miss James is our probation expert, and she's going to explain everything about probation. She's going to get you set up with probation. The quickest way to get rearrested and to mess up on your first offender and on your probation is to not appear. So you got to make your probation reports. You understand? That's not optional. But once you have completed everything, and Mr. Lynch says you have done, because you've already done the parenting class. So knock out these hours for community service, get that turned in, and come off probation. You understand? I'm going to put you in a breakout room with Miss James. Miss James is going to speak to you about getting signed up and doing what you need to do. You do not have to come back. But Miss Dyer, I'm asking you, for people who listen to you, your girlfriends, younger ladies that might hear your story or listen to you, tell them they need to make better decisions. They don't have to have a baby with a guy they know is not supporting his 4 other children. They don't have to have a baby or even get involved with somebody who they know is not going to be there for them 10 toes down when they need them. Stop choosing these people who will use and abuse you and walk away. That's not a choice that's necessary to make. We can make better choices. We clear? All right. So I'm going to put you in the breakout room with Miss James. You do not have to come back here after you talk to her, okay?
Okay.
All right. Knock this out and get it off your record so you can continue to do what you need to do. The fact that you were working, the fact that you were in a situation like this makes me even madder. Not just at you for the decision that you made, but for the fact that we got guys out here who leaving their babies and not even thinking twice about it. They just dropping babies and walking away. And we're letting them, because he can't get to you to produce a baby unless you let him. If you already know he got 4 kids, if you already know his story is not adding up, if you already know he's not making sense, if you already know he's not supporting you prior to having a baby, why would you do it? Don't lay down with him. All right. So I'm going to put you in a breakout room. I'm going to put Ms. James in a breakout room. And once you finish speaking with her, you'll be free to go. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Yeah. All right. Next,